Hey, call me Shape, and today I'm reacting to a video titled Jordan Peterson calmly humbles woman who says men and women aren't equal yet. Let's get right into it.
What do you understand by equality, Sophie? What does it mean to you?
Freedom.
Can you be more, is it equality of opportunity? Is it equal pay across the board? Is it something more than that?
I think equality's better for everyone. I think,
okay.
I'm really delighted, I love my job because it's an optimistic and a hopeful job, which is about creating more choices for people. I'm interested in people being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
She danced around that question. She did not answer it. I don't think she knows what equality means.
Aha, well, so you're going to have choices and equality of outcome. What if people choose different things, which is what they've been doing in Scandinavia? So the Scandinavian countries have moved more towards gender equality than any other countries, and the personality differences in Scandinavia have increased rather than decreased, and the proportion of women who are choosing STEM fields has decreased rather than increased. So as cultures become more gender neutral, the number of women who choose STEM fields decreases.
What do you mean by STEM fields?
So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if you let men and women make their choices, what actually happens is that they specialize in different situations, and you don't get equality of outcome.
Could they not have been programmed to have those views from the moment we raise them and give boys Lego and construction?
No, because what happens is that as countries get more egalitarian, which means there's less programming of that sort, the differences get larger, not smaller. And the scientific data on that is clear, and most of it was generated by people who have a left-leaning bias, so you can't blame it on conservative scientists. It was a shock to everyone to find that out.
Sophie,
I think the difference between Jordan and me is that we look at evidence and we lean towards different theories. So Jordan's theory is very much evolutionary, that there are inherent differences in men and women. Mine is very much more social role theory, if you like, and that men and women are taking on different roles due to the expectations that society puts on them. And it's interesting that Jordan frequently cites Scandinavian countries where they've made more, like there's nowhere in the world that women are equal, but Scandinavia has made the most progress towards shared parenting, etc.
Yep.
That said, it's not done yet. There's nowhere in the world where this is done yet.
But it's having the opposite effect that the gender equality types predicted. Opposite, not the same. And it isn't a theory, it's actually data driven by tens of thousands of surveys and the best scientific literature on the topic. It's not a theory, and I didn't come about it because of my political perspective. I looked at the data. What it showed was that as countries become more egalitarian, the differences between men and women grow. They don't shrink.
So what I'm interested in is data and analysis.
Wait, I'm going to cut you off, lady. I'm going to cut you off because I see where the conversation is now. She's trying to present that her argument is equal to Jordan Peterson because both of them, their arguments are theories. And Jordan quickly corrected her. It is not a theory. See, for people that don't know, I'll break it down to you. Theory is a level of evidence, right? It's a low level of evidence, right? Maybe a little bit above opinion. Opinion is the lowest level of evidence. And then you have what we call random controlled trials and stuff like that, RCTs, and different studies, which are higher levels of evidence. So by calling it theory, she just tried to, minimize what he was saying. But he said, no, it's not a theory. This is evidence. And the truth of the matter is even though she has a different opinion than Jordan Peterson, it doesn't mean that they're equal in evidence, right? Hers is a theory. The theory that men and women would be equal if society didn't get in the way. Right? But now they want society to get in the way to make them equal. So which one is it? Is it nature or nurture? Because you're arguing it's nurture, and then you want nurture to get in the way to correct nurture. How does that make sense?
As well.
Ma'am, you're not interested in the data and the facts because he's telling you the data and the facts, but you just want to keep talking to find a way to rebuttal this man, but you're not saying anything. This woman is the definition of hearing but not listening at all.
In is data and analysis as well, and I'm particularly interested in the ones presented, such as the ones by the University of Southern California, which discovered that change towards gender equality is actually being slowed by beliefs that are legitimizing social inequalities on the basis of sex. And I'm also interested, I mean, like Jordan, I look at the data and I look at the studies, and I'm really also very much interested in studies like the analysis that was done by the American Psychological Society, which looked at 45 analysis of whether there's sex difference over 20 years. And its conclusion was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of leadership. But what it did find was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally different perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh God, so it's my fault.
So, no, well, you know, you're leaving soon. It's okay.
Men and women actually are more the same than they are different. But the issue is that small differences at the population level can turn into very large differences at the extreme. So, for example, men and women are broadly similar.
Did you call what he said right there? The difference makes a difference. The small difference. You say, oh yeah, we're generally the same. Yeah, we're all humans. So we're generally the same. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, tongue, right? Esophagus, you got that throat? But the differences that we have actually make up a significant difference at the extreme.
With regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression, so that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people, they're all male, and that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that, just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male, and we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender. It's a very simplistic analysis, and trying to
Michael,
address
I just going to say,
That's when women's whole...
You know, it's so funny because if it wasn't for Jordan Peterson breaking this down as a white man, we'd probably be still having this issue now, because to me, this debate is no longer a debate, right? We looked at the facts, okay? It's okay. I get it, women. You want to have... You see, what I see here is this, right? And I'm going to, I could jump around here, but this is what I really see. I think women are upset that there's some things that men have for the fact that men have it. And they look at it like, well, we don't want anything. We don't want men to have any advantage over us. What? That's life. The youth have advantage over the old. The rich have an advantage over the poor. The smart have an advantage over the dumb. There's so many attributes of someone outside of their gender that's inferior to one to another thing, right? It's because we just have a hierarchy of values, and everyone falls on a hierarchy. When it comes to strength, there's a hierarchy. When it comes to intelligence, there's a hierarchy. When it comes to intellect, realistically, there's a hierarchy, right? I'm not saying men are more intelligent than women, and just in general, the most intelligent people in the world, right? There's a hierarchy of who's the smartest, right? Who's the fastest? Who could play basketball the best? Who could run the best, right? These are all hierarchies, and women look at the one where men make more and assume, well, oh, something's wrong here, right? Nothing's wrong here. The top 10 most dangerous jobs in America are overwhelmingly done by men. Top 10. I don't see any women running to be in these jobs because the truth of the matter is they don't want equality there. They want equality in the office, right? And now they're claiming there's no equality, where realistically there's a lot of equality in America. A lot of women are boss babes. Let's tell the truth. There's a lot of boss babes now. A lot. There's not a lot of rich construction worker babes. Right? There's no rich bricklayer babes, right? For the most part, the difference between men and women, the significant difference is men were really strong, right? We're a lot stronger, and women a lot more vulnerable, right? And that has a few ways you can look at it. One, women also a lot more beautiful, right? And a lot of what a woman offers, unfortunately, I don't know, unfortunately, I think they enjoy it because they love makeup and hair and nails and stuff like that. A lot of what a woman offers is her looks, is her beauty. It's one of the most valuable things a woman can have is her youth. You know, so are you upset about that? Man, we're not upset that, a girl could just get online, post in her underwear and get hundreds and thousands of subscribers or followers. We're not pissed about that. We recognize it. We're not mad about it. That's women are unequal in that way, right? Only Scams is majority women, right? And the top earners in Only Scams are women. So, and the top earners in adult films are women. So we have equalities, that we have scenarios that favor women that they're not complaining about. They're complaining about a particular scenario, and they're trying to generalize everything, which is something they say we do, right? Trying to make this a systematic issue rather than an issue relative to that industry, relative to that career field, which is exactly what it is, right? Because if you look at other industries, you'll see that some industries favor women. You understand that there is equality, but there's differences between men and women, and we are paid based on that competence and our attributes and our ability to effectively do a job.
Simplistic analysis and trying to
Michael, I
address
was just going to say, Sophie,
That's when women's whole argument for equality falls apart. They don't want that same equality when it comes to certain jobs. They don't want to do labor-intensive work. And you would think it's more labor-intensive, blue-collar jobs, but these women are also not going into the science or engineering fields as well, where they got to build, machinery. A lot of software jobs, women are not running to those jobs as well.
can you come back on that?
What I'm trying to equalise is opportunity and choice.
fine, let's equalize
You
choice.
agree on that.
But we won't get equal outcome that way.
And I think that what happens then, nobody knows, because we've never done it yet.
We do know. We know what's happened in Scandinavia.
But it's not fully got there yet.
finished
No, but it's going in the opposite direction that everyone predicted, and strongly.
I think one of the things I loved about Jordan's book, which I speed read last night, so forgive me, Jordan, I've not read every line. But one of my favourite rules in Jordan's book is Rule 9, which says, assume the person you are listening to might know something you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in a country where men outnumber women by 2 to 1 in Parliament, in local government, where women's voices are not equally represented in media, where our education systems still are teaching boys and girls ideas of pink and blue. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is work with thousands of optimistic, hopeful people for change.
Okay,
We take joint membership.
Here's an issue, though, and I'm going to end it here because it's really simple when you observe someone's argument, right? She wants women to have a voice, to have essentially power, right? Control, influence. And then we ask why, and it's for women's sake, right? Let's try it out. And she just right? You don't think it's kind of biased because she's a woman? She has a woman bias. This is the feminine bias. That let's make things better for women. And then who's saying that? Women. Of course. I'm not mad that you're advocating for yourself. But the problem is you're telling us not to advocate for ourselves as well. Because you're saying, let's arbitrarily put women in power to just see. Let's just see. We don't know what will happen. Listen, the world is running perfectly fine with men. I'm just telling the truth, right? All the jobs that we just showed, plumbing, the hard architectural jobs, building, bricklaying, all these things. Like the beautiful room that they're in right now, built by men, right? And if that is a real high rise, who do you think climbed to lay those bricks? Do you want us to do you want to do those jobs? Again, you don't want to do the blue collar jobs. You want to do the white collar jobs because you want the white collar pay, and you're screaming it's inequality. And really, this whole woman movement is on the backs, it's riding off the backs, or off the shoulder, I guess you could say, of the black civil rights movement. They're trying to use that same approach. But here's a huge difference between the black civil rights movement and the feminist movement. Is the black civil rights movement was about arbitrarily suppressing people, arbitrarily saying you are black, therefore you can't come to this establishment. That's arbitrary. That's different than saying let the best man win and the best man happens to be Chinese. Those are two different things. Or the best person happens to be a woman for the job. We live in a capitalistic society, so we're going to hire people based on competence. I'm a personal trainer. You should hire me based on the fact that I'm able to actually train you. You could just hire a woman because she's a woman, but what if she's not a personal trainer? Or what if she's not a good personal trainer? And by the way, there's good personal trainers of male and female. Like, I'm just using that as an example, but I'm saying don't hire me just because I'm black, right? Hire me because I'm competent. And that's the whole civil rights movement was trying to say, don't hire us because of our identity, hire us because of our competency. And women are actually doing the exact opposite. They're saying, hire us because of our identity. That's what they're saying. We're not saying that the best pilots are women, therefore let's hire them. We're saying, let's just hire women pilots. You see how this is just arbitrary. It's cosmetic justice. And Thomas Sowell talked about this. I probably should put a link to one of his books. He has some great books about this discussion. So anyway, you can look and see I got some great books in my Amazon affiliate link. You can click and check out some of the books that I recommend based on finance, based on health. I think they're all important discussions when it comes to relationships. Health, wealth is all a part of that, right? The more wealthy you are, the better you could date, the more you can have, more fun you can have as a man. And as a woman, you know, the worse your dating life turns out to be because men that have more money than you don't want you. It's unfortunate. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Channel's blowing up. I appreciate you guys. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you over there.